President Lee Jae-myung is gearing up to head to NATO and then Mongolia. The Blue House says the president will make his NATO summit debut in Turkey next week before becoming the first South Korean president in more than a decade to pay a state visit to Mongolia. And a mega investment push for South Korea's southeast. Tech giants have pledged more than $200 billion for new projects as the government seeks to narrow regional disparities and boost growth beyond the capital. Finally, a rare sign of hope in Venezuela. Rescuers have pulled another survivor from the rubble after last week's double earthquakes, even as the death toll continues to climb.
Good evening and thank you for joining us here on Newscenter. I'm Song Yoo-jin filling in for Kim Da-mi. The Blue House today announced that President Lee Jae-myung will head overseas next week, this time to Turkey and Mongolia. Now, defense cooperation, summit diplomacy, and the Korean Peninsula will be high on the agenda during his 5-day trip. Here's a preview.
President Lee Jae-myung is set to further expand South Korea's diplomatic outreach with visits to Turkey and Mongolia next week. The first stop is Ankara, where Lee will make his NATO summit debut.
This visit follows last month's G7 summit and represents another step in broadening South Korea's diplomatic horizons. It also marks the beginning of a more active push for defense cooperation with NATO allies, which together account for 55% of global defense spending.
Upon arriving in the Turkish capital on Tuesday, Lee will first hold talks with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte before joining a meeting between NATO and its Indo-Pacific partner countries. The highlight will be the NATO Defense Industry Forum, which has been elevated to one of the summit's official flagship events for the first time. There, President Lee will deliver a keynote speech.
Through the forum, we will directly showcase the strengths of our defense industry and its rapid production capabilities to NATO allies and partner countries, while securing concrete avenues of cooperation as we work toward becoming one of the world's top 4 defense exporters.
Several bilateral meetings with world leaders are also being arranged on the sidelines of the summit. After wrapping up his 2-day visit to Turkey, President Lee will travel to Mongolia. This makes Lee the first South Korean president to make a state visit to the country in 15 years. On Thursday, he will hold his first summit with Mongolian President Ukhnaagiin Khurelsuit in Ulaanbaatar. The two leaders are expected to adopt a joint statement outlining ways to deepen their strategic partnership. One of Seoul's key priorities will be expanding cooperation on efforts to promote peace on the Korean Peninsula. Mongolia was the second country after the former Soviet Union to establish diplomatic ties with North Korea.
We hope this visit will provide an opportunity for the two leaders to discuss peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, ways to ease regional tensions and build trust, and practical steps toward resuming dialogue with North Korea.
During his 3-day stay, Lee is also scheduled to meet the Speaker of Mongolia's parliament and the Prime Minister. On the final day of the visit, he will attend the opening ceremony of the Nadam Festival, Mongolia's largest national celebration commemorating its independence.
Our other top story tonight, the government has unveiled the final piece of its massive regional investment project, this time for Korea's southeast. Now, President Lee Jae-myung today said the region will be transformed into a hub for advanced manufacturing and next-generation industries. Kim Jun-ong has the details.
Korea aims to develop the Southeast into a hub for advanced industries. The government reaffirmed that vision on Friday in Gyeongsangnam-do province, where 312 trillion won, or $200 billion in investment plans were formalized through MOUs. President Lee Jae-myung said the region is well positioned to become a global hub for advanced manufacturing.
영남은 명실상부한 대한민국 제조업 1위 거점이자 글로벌 첨단 제조업 거점으로 도약할 큰 잠재력을 가지고 있습니다. 이 탄탄한 기반 위에 첨단 산업 육성을 위한 대규모 투자가 더해지게 됩니다.
The event was the third in a series of regional investment initiatives launched after the government's announcement of 3 mega projects on Monday. The Southeast's investment strategy centers on physical AI, bringing artificial intelligence into the manufacturing process. Major companies unveiled their investment plans at the event, with SK Group committing approximately $91 billion to build large-scale AI data centers and turn the region into a key AI data hub.
We plan to gradually build AI data centers across the southeast with a combined capacity of more than 2 gigawatts. The project will involve around $91 billion, including foreign capital.
Samsung Electronics also announced plans to invest some $40 billion to advance AI-powered manufacturing by integrating AI and robotics into production. Hanwha will channel $35 billion into aerospace and AI through 2040 to build an integrated space infrastructure. Hyundai Motor Group is set to invest $27 billion over the next decade to establish the region as one of its global advanced manufacturing hubs. To help deliver the investment plans, the government vowed to provide infrastructure support and tax incentives. It also said the initiative would promote more balanced regional growth by easing the concentration of industry in the capital region. Kim Jun-ong, Arirang News.
And staying here in Korea, during an emergency economic meeting on Friday, the government announced plans to support small and medium-sized businesses hit by the weak won, while also accelerating major AI and chip initiatives. Seoul is rolling out a 14.9 trillion won, or roughly $9.6 billion emergency support package for small and mid-sized enterprises. Now, authorities will ease loan requirements, cut import insurance premiums by 50%, and extend tax payment deadlines. Meanwhile, also at the event today, Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chul unveiled plans to fast-track 3 mega projects in semiconductors, data centers, and physical AI through tailored strategies. Staying on the economic front, Korea's foreign exchange reserves for June rose by $370 million compared to the month before, and that's according to the Bank of Korea. The central bank attributed the modest rebound, which brought the figure to $427.36 billion to an increase in foreign currency deposits at financial institutions. That offset the impact of market stabilization measures, including a currency swap deal with the National Pension Service. Now, by asset type, deposits rose by $920 million, while securities holdings fell by $330 million. As of the end of May, Korea ranked 13th globally in foreign exchange reserves, $3.1 billion behind Singapore, which was in 12th place. Over to stocks, Korea's benchmark KOSPI experienced wild swings on Friday, falling as much as 3.5% below Thursday's close, before rebounding to finish the day up 5.76% at 8,088. Now, the market's movements were driven largely by the country's 2 semiconductor giants, Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix. After the massive sell-offs the day before, both chip makers saw a dramatic comeback. Samsung ended the session jumping 8.22%, while SK Hynix surged 10.88%. The sudden market rebound was so intense that a buy-side sidecar was activated during the day. Now, despite overnight losses in U.S. tech stocks, aggressive bargain hunting helped lift the broader Korean market back above the 8,000 mark. Now to Venezuela, where rescue crews are racing against time following last week's devastating earthquakes. A security guard has been pulled alive from the rubble, offering a rare glimmer of hope. But as rescue efforts continue, the death toll is also on the rise. Kim Do-yeon reports.
A round of applause in Venezuela as rescuers transfer 43-year-old security guard Hernan Alberto Il Flores to a waiting ambulance. He was pulled alive from the collapsed basement of a shopping center in Katia Lamar early Thursday after 8 days, trapped 9 meters under the rubble following 2 devastating earthquakes. He survived the initial collapse because his small security workstation shielded him from crushing debris and created a vital air pocket. Due to severe structural instability, specialized teams from Chile, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and the U.S. had to dig 2 separate tunnels to reach him. Footage from the operation captured the moment rescuers first established verbal contact through the dense concrete.
¿Dónde estás? ¿Alcanza a llegar la luz de aquí arriba? ¿Estás bien?
Sí, estoy bien. Lo que pasa es que las piedras me tienen mal la espalda.
Workers maintained contact via telescopic cameras and provided hydration through tubing, keeping him stable during the extraction.
2 days ago, our medical team was able to insert a way through the same opening we had created to insert a camera, and through that opening, we were able to hydrate him.
For his family, the initial contact ended a week of agonizing uncertainty.
First, there were days of sadness, pain, and desperation because they couldn't find him. I didn't know if he was alive or dead, if he was injured, or if they took him to a hospital. But when I realized he was alive, it was like a ray of light in the darkness.
According to latest figures from the government, the magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes killed at least 2,595 people and injured more than 12,400. Widely used unofficial registries list approximately 38,600 people as still missing. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Moving now to the war in the Middle East, U.S.-Iran negotiations appear to be making little progress, with Tehran pushing for new fees on vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. While Washington has offered to release Iranian funds frozen overseas, Tehran is reportedly seeking as much as $40 billion a year through the proposed fees. Cha Yoon-kyung reports.
Although the United States has offered to release Iranian funds frozen overseas as a possible incentive, Tehran is showing no sign of backing down from its claim over the Strait of Hormuz. Talks are moving at a snail's pace, with Iran pushing to charge vessels that pass through the strait for maritime services. Tehran estimates the fees could generate up to $40 billion a year, suggesting that Washington's offer is not enough to change its position. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Qasem Gharibabadi doubled down on Tehran's position after returning from indirect talks in Doha, mediated by Qatar and Pakistan on Wednesday local time. He said the Strait of Hormuz is under Iran's command, not Washington's. Later in the day, Iran's military warned that any vessel taking an unapproved route through the strait would face an immediate and powerful response. Iran is also taking a hardline stance against what it calls outside interference in security issues surrounding the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has openly criticized the U.S. military presence in the Gulf, saying American bases in regional countries are creating confusion and instability. Iran has also yet to respond to Oman's alternative proposal, which calls for voluntary contributions for maritime services instead of mandatory transit fees. Meanwhile, senior U.S. officials were reportedly concerned that Israel intended to assassinate Iran's top negotiators, even as the Trump administration pursued a high-stakes April deal aimed at ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. It has also been reported that Washington warned Iran about Israel's alleged assassination aims, amid concerns that any such move could derail progress in the peace talks. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
In other news, around 2/3 of the global virtual asset losses from hacking in the first half of this year were caused by hacking groups linked to North Korea. This is according to Voice of America on Friday, which cited a report by blockchain analytics firm TRM Labs. Now, North Korean affiliated hacking groups stole a total of $643 million of virtual assets during the first half of the year. This accounts for around 66% of the total global losses. The report also noted that the figures do not include illicit revenues from phishing attacks, cryptocurrency scams, or North Korea's disguised overseas IT employment, hinting that Pyongyang's actual cryptocurrency-related revenue is likely significantly higher than the reported total. Now, back here at home, the Vatican has been in the spotlight after President Lee Jae-myung invited Pope Leo XIV to visit North Korea in a bid to help foster peace on the Korean peninsula. Now, speaking at a press conference on Friday, South Korean Cardinal You Heung-sik said the Pope is ready to play the role, outlining how the Holy See could help improve inter-Korean relations. Shin So-eun has more.
Cardinal You Heung-sik held a press conference on Friday outlining Pope Leo XIV's strong interest in peace on the Korean peninsula and explaining the Vatican's approach to inter-Korean issues. Cardinal Yu first discussed the possibility of a papal visit to Pyongyang, saying it could help pave the way for peace on the Korean peninsula.
When Pope Leo XIV was elected last year, I had a strong feeling that he would play a role in bringing peace to the Korean peninsula. The Pope also told me he hoped so too, and that he was ready to do whatever he could for peace.
Asked about possible steps to build stronger ties between the Vatican and North Korea, Cardinal Yu said the key would be Pyongyang's response. He added that broader regional diplomacy, including U.S.-North Korea relations, would also shape what happens next.
I hope even a small door will open soon. If it does, we must do everything we can to widen that opening.
Calling reconciliation between the two Koreas his dream, the Cardinal himself expressed a genuine commitment to play a direct role if circumstances allow. Yu said allowing one or two Catholic priests to serve permanently at Pyongyang's Changchun Cathedral would not only provide pastoral care for local Catholics and Vatican-affiliated diplomats, but also help foster the trust needed for future engagement with the Holy See. Asked about President Lee's recent request for an additional Korean cardinal, Cardinal Yu said the timing could not have been better.
I believe President Lee made the request at exactly the right moment. As Korea prepares for a major event next year, another Korean cardinal would be of great help to church.
He added that Pope Leo has not yet appointed any new cardinals since the start of his papacy, but an announcement is expected soon.
I hope visa procedures can be eased for World Youth Day participants. Young people should not be judged only by their financial means. If they come with faith, hope, and a willingness to contribute, we should welcome them and allow them to experience Korea.
Looking ahead to World Youth Day in Seoul next year, Cardinal Yu said he hopes young pilgrims will experience Korea's warmth and hospitality and return home with a renewed sense of spiritual purpose. Shin So-eun, Arirang News.
Now, in the world of sports, the FIFA World Cup isn't the only soccer tournament drawing attention this summer. Here in Korea, robots are taking the field for Robocup, the world's largest robotics and AI competition, showing just how far autonomous technology has come. Lee Ju-yeon has the story.
While soccer fans around the world are focused on the FIFA World Cup this summer, a different kind of match has kicked off in Korea. On this soccer pitch in Incheon, there are no human players, just robots passing and chasing the balls. Robocup, the world's largest robotics and AI competition, held in Korea for the first time. The event, taking place in Incheon from July 2nd to 6th, brings together participants from 45 nations, making it the largest Robocup in history. Many young visitors headed to the event, curious about the human-like robots and ready to cheer on the Korean teams.
Since robots and AI will be the new trend for our children's generation, I wanted them to experience it firsthand.
The competition consists of 5 leagues: soccer, home service, industrial automation, rescue, and junior league. Among those, the soccer league is drawing the most attention. Inha University's Inha United is competing in middle-sized soccer league. It faced Wuhan University, a strong opponent in their first match, but held its ground.
Since our first game is done, we'll improve what we lacked and try to finish the rest of the tournament smoothly.
Meanwhile, Incheon National University was the only Korean team in the Smart Manufacturing League under the Industrial Division. Robots were required to assemble a product piece by piece within a time limit, and Team INU were recognized for their precise control.
I hope the skills and know-how we developed for this competition will support future robotics research and industry.
The ultimate goal of Robocup is to develop a fully autonomous humanoid robot team that can defeat the FIFA World Cup champions by 2050.
The goal may be ambitious, but Robocup 2026 shows that it's no longer just science fiction. Lee Ju-yeon, Arirang News.
You're rising up.
For all the toy lovers out there, a traditional toy market here in Seoul is drawing an unexpected crowd these days as more young adults flock there to shop for the latest craze. Now, to tell us what this is for our arts and culture segment this week, we have our correspondent Jo Young-eun in the studio. Young-eun, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Eugene.
Great to have you on. So, Young-eun, I hear that a lot of young people these days are returning to a place that has long been a destination for older generations, like our parents and grandparents who grew up shopping there. So tell us what you found.
That's right, Eugene. Earlier this week, I visited the market in Seoul that's attracting a growing number of young adults to see what's behind the trend. This is Changsindong Toy Street, home to Korea's largest toy market with more than 100 stores. Here's a closer look to what's drawing so many young adults here. It's a weekday morning, yet crowds of people are lining up outside toy stores in Seoul's Dongdaemun-gu district. But these aren't parents shopping for their children. They're young adults searching for 말랑이, soft, squishy, sensory toys that have become the latest trend. From squishy toys to wax-coated stress balls to clickable keycap keyrings, sensory toys are rapidly gaining popularity among people in their 20s and 30s.
This soap-shaped one is the most popular. When you squeeze it, it makes a satisfying sound, and there are tiny bead-like pieces inside. It's a mix of slime and clay, so it has a really nice texture. Compared to the basic ones, it feels better, makes better popping sounds, and helps relieve a lot more stress.
I kept seeing them all over Instagram, so I wanted to try one myself. My older sister buys them, and so do all my friends. After making one together with them, I thought, I should get one too.
These tactile items are now being embraced as a fun way to relieve stress and satisfy the growing demand for daily comfort. Stationery store owners say the trend has breathed new life into the neighborhood, bringing a steady stream of visitors to the market.
There was a time when the market had almost no customers, as schools now purchase most of the stationery through suppliers. But as the market for these toys grew, more customers came, and the street has become lively again.
Experts say the craze reflects the growing popularity of sensory consumption, a lifestyle centered on small purchases that provide emotional comfort.
Handling toys like these can help slow down the rapid pace of psychological stimulation people experience in everyday life. That process can relieve stress and provide a sense of emotional stability and healing, which is why so many young people are drawn to them.
Easy to carry and affordable, these toys not only deliver immediate satisfaction, but also shared experience among young adults.
I mean, I live in Seoul, but I didn't know that such an interesting market was actually there. So, Young-eun, now I want to ask you, where did this craze or culture actually begin, and why are so many young adults suddenly drawn into this culture?
So before I explain, I actually brought one of the toys with me. This soap-shaped 말랑이 is currently one of the best-selling items. It contains tiny bits that create crackling sounds when squeezed. So the appeal isn't just about how soft it feels. The trend first took off on social media in late March, fueled by celebrities and popular YouTube creators. Videos of people squishing and popping these toys have attracted hundreds, and in many cases, millions of views. While many viewers may recognize similar products like Nido stress balls, which have been popular overseas for years, Korea's market has evolved with colorful fruit, bread, and character-shaped designs, as well as scented versions that offer an even more immersive sensory experience.
I mean, now I want to buy that marangi and squeeze it myself. But I want to know, these toys, they can also be bought online. Then why are so many young people like you and me actually visiting these physical stores and buying them in person?
Experts say young consumers are drawn into experiencing and trying to put it on themselves. Many want to compare the texture, sound, and appearance for themselves before making a purchase. Visiting popular stores has also become part of the trend, with many sharing their visits on social media afterward. As online and offline become increasingly connected, consumers are inspired by what they discover online and then seek it out in stores.
Looking at products online and seeing them in person are completely different experiences. The moment young consumers walk into these stores, it's like stepping into a treasure trove filled with things they love. That sense of discovery and excitement is what makes the shopping experience itself so enjoyable.
Buying these toys has evolved into a form of experiential consumption, where the enjoyment comes not only from owning the product, but from the entire shopping journey.
Experiential consumption. All right, Youngwon, thank you so much for your interest and report and also bringing your toy with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The weekend will begin on a cloudy note tomorrow. Then on Sunday night, Seoul will see its first monsoon rain. Tomorrow, monsoon rain will expand north into the south of the Chungcheongdo provinces. And between tonight and tomorrow morning, Jeju Island and southern Jeollanam-do province could see heavy downpours. Mountainous areas of Jeju Island could see more than 150 millimeters of rain. On Sunday, rainfall will range from 5 to 20 millimeters in the capital area and Gangwon-do province, while 20 to 80 millimeters is expected elsewhere, with amount varying from place to place. As for temperatures, Seoul will start the day at 23 degrees Celsius, Daejeon 21, Gwangju 22 degrees. Then by the afternoon, Seoul will get to 31 degrees, Daegu 30 degrees, Jeju 28 degrees. Looking ahead, rain is expected to spread nationwide on Monday, and the seasonal rain front will continue to move back and forth, bringing periods of rain to many parts of the country. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
And that's Newscenter for this Friday. I'm Song Yu-jin, filling in for Kim Da-mi. From all of us here at Arirang, thank you for watching and hope you have a great weekend.
How to survive in Korea. Weddings. Step 0. Attire. As a guest, dress formal to business casual. Avoid wearing all white, shorts, or going topless. Step 1. Arrival time. Arrive 30 minutes prior to the wedding ceremony. Too many cars, too many halls, too many people. There are many twists and turns. Take pictures and shake hands. And write your name vertically, not horizontally, in the guest book. Step 2. Or, shibor. 50,000 won, 100,000 won, 150,000 won. Cash gifts are given in these units. Decide on the amount based on your relationship. Write your name vertically on the envelope. Step 3. Wedding etiquette. Fill up the front row. Guests have 3 duties to fulfill: clapping, cheering, and taking pictures. Step 4. Dining. Take off your jacket. This will be your seat from now on. Start with the not your everyday delicacies. Galbijjim. Yes. Bosa. Yes. Chili shrimps. Definitely yes. Kimbap. Yeah. Only if you can't live without it. No need to pile up food. You have more than one opportunity. Did you survive the wedding? Wait, did someone catch your eye? What are you waiting for? You're looking fine today.
When did it all begin? The beginning of joy embedded in daily life, where steps of learning meet a bigger world, and history coexists. The legend continues. Innovative technologies come together to unfold a new future, building a better tomorrow. A joy accessible to all, always present in your daily life. JDC.
Knock knock. The magical door to the world of K-animation is swinging wide open. Meet your instant new BFF, the adorable Catch. Tina Ping will have you hooked from the very first glance. Need a hand? Our Robocar Poli Rescue team is always zooming in to save the day. How about tagging along on Pinkfong and Pal's super exciting quest to reclaim their lost magic? With the mysterious life forms Kebion by your side, you can become a Kebion master and save humanity like the total hero. Protecting children's innocence while igniting their boundless imaginations. That's the magic of Korean animation. K-animation, the ultimate bestie for kids worldwide.
Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mo-gen. The global race to secure advanced industries is accelerating, with countries competing to attract investment in sectors like artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and cybersecurity. As companies rethink where to expand amid shifting supply chains and evolving U.S. industrial policies, location has become more important than ever. Fairfax County, Virginia, home to one of America's largest technology clusters, is positioning itself as a gateway for Korean businesses looking to enter the American market. To discuss where the biggest opportunities lie and how the two sides can deepen their economic partnership, we are joined in the studio by Victor Hoskins, President and CEO of the Fairfax County's Economic Development Authority. A very big welcome.
Thank you very much. So glad to be here today.
So I must ask, what brings you to Korea this time around?
Well, Korea has been a partner for Fairfax County for over 20 years now. We actually have had a relationship with, number one, we have a campus here. George Mason University, which is based in our jurisdiction in the U.S., has a campus here. It started with 50 students. Now it has over 1,000 in Incheon. And they also have an incubator there where they really work with companies. And our goal is really to meet companies that match the growth in our industries. And it works two ways. One, they get market opportunity, and two, we get that economic growth.
Right. Then what makes the two, Fairfax County and Korea, big partners, like important partners?
Yeah, if you look at the technology that's been developed in Korea, particularly in semiconductors, artificial intelligence, you just mentioned some of those, cybersecurity. Those are areas that we are really, we have a deep history and quite a bit of technology companies in those arenas already. So there are a lot of potential partners there. The other piece is the biggest customer in the world is there, which is our Defense Department. $800 billion budget. So that is something that if you're in proximity to it, there's greater opportunity for you. And also, we find that match in industries really brings us new ideas. It helps our companies sharpen, their tools for competition, and also, again, brings in that growth that we're looking for.
Right. So those trades really bring a lot of room for more opportunities.
Always. Yeah.
Right. Now, when we stay with that, for people who are unfamiliar, Fairfax County has been helping Korean companies expand into the U.S. market, of course. Why do you think should Korean businesses choose Fairfax County as their first destination?
Well, Well, first of all, we have the third largest Korean American community in the country. So we have a high concentration. So culturally, there's a home for you in Fairfax County. And that's one of the greatest parts of this. And also we've had representation in Korea since 2004. Charles Kim, who runs our office here, he has really helped us establish relationships with those industry sectors that I mentioned. And that also has done something for, I guess I would say, the passing of the word that we're a good place to start. And then in addition to that, we have special services for companies that are coming in internationally, in particular for Korean companies coming in, for soft landing, making it easier for them to enter our market, to deal with getting licensed, to deal with finding partners. All of those services, we really provide a support to them. And we work with organizations like KOSPI and companies that they want to help expand. Actually, we did this with Gov't. They started with 2 employees in our county. They now have 60 employees. And we work with some of the larger companies, and like S-Traffic, which is part of a division that came out of Samsung. They just recently landed a $90 million contract. So we can connect them to the opportunities, but we have to have some presence there so that we can facilitate that.
Wow, we're definitely seeing a lot of expansion, as you've mentioned some of the examples. Now, one of the biggest strengths of this county is its tech ecosystem. It's home to more than 10,000 IT, cybersecurity, and AI companies as well. So what kind of opportunities does that create for Korean AI and semiconductor companies?
Yeah, I go to CES every year, and I always meet with anywhere between 70 and 100 Korean companies. And what I have found is the products and technology that are being developed are different from ours, but have an opportunity to add something to our market. So that's really what I see as the opportunity for the Korean companies entering the market, because our market is searching for new ideas, searching for new ways, for example, to do medical examination. I remember being at CES, and there was using quantum sensing, a way to monitor the heart. I'm a person who doesn't like to get in those MRI machines. And if I can just sit up, and that's the way it was designed, and that is unique. Nothing like that is in America right now. So, and then helping them meet the people in the government agencies that help license that or help get that permitted through our, we have a lot of regulations around health product, but helping them through that process, actually, once they get to our market, it adds something to our market.
Right, so a very strong innovation ecosystem.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Now, if we go beyond this tech sector, the U.S. is reshaping its supply chains and bringing manufacturing back home. Do you see new opportunities for Korean small and mid-sized businesses as well?
Yeah, I think especially so right now, because as you mentioned, the U.S. is trying to adjust its supply chain so that there's more U.S. based. I think what that does is that allows local government and federal government officials to be more open to the idea of moving something along, because it is the policy of the nation right now. And I think that just as an example, the $350 billion investment, over the next 10 years that South Korea has made is a type of an open door to opportunity. Not always easy to do, but the door is open. And I think that that's really the positive part.
Right, for small and mid-sized companies.
Small and mid-sized companies, absolutely, absolutely. Especially if the product is unique, innovative, like the one I just mentioned, but even some product that may be unique in terms of like artificial intelligence. We are using a lot of artificial intelligence and doing what they call dual use, where it will be used for defense, but it will also be used for domestic use. Some of the artificial intelligence that relates to drones right now that's used for defense is now being applied to agriculture. And some of that innovation is coming out of Korea. And then we want to join that innovation with our own.
Wow, it's already exciting to see, how these kinds of partnership would make new innovations. But as far as I know, about 65 Korean companies are already operating in Fairfax County. Could you share with us more success stories that stood out? Yeah,
I did mention Gov't, I did mention S-Traffic, and what we've been doing with those companies is trying to, number one, trying to help them understand that we'd like their partner companies to come into. So we've been working with some of those. And we really try to get our companies to work with our universities also. And we have ties to George Mason University, to Virginia Tech, to University of Virginia. And when our companies are looking for talent, we try to feed them talent also. And that talent, if it's local, that talent is if it's local, and also we have a situation where we actually help talent come out of the military, then now they can access pre-cleared talent, and pre-cleared talent for sensitive areas gives them a market opportunity.
Just to check if I got it right, so you mean aside from just partnerships from a company level, you can also have partnerships in the educational
Absolutely.
And, hiring level.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have 60 universities in our region. They have about 500,000 students enrolled. They graduate 90,000 degree candidates every year, and we use those to feed our company's growth.
Wow. Well, that's a successful story about this partnership, definitely. Now, you've also mentioned that localization is key to success in the U.S. Why is Fairfax County well positioned to help Korean companies localize, and what kind of support do you provide?
So one area of support that we provide is, I mentioned, soft landing services. We have a setup where a company could actually start virtually, and we will let them once they set up their virtual office, we actually can work with them in terms of meeting partners virtually. So before they travel, before they spend a bunch of money flying to Washington, D.C., get to meet some potential partners. If those potential partners look like they may be fruitful, then they come over. And then when they come over, we have a program, we have a 6-month program that costs $900 for office use. And we will set up meetings for them with partners in that location. I don't think it can get any cheaper than that to set your company up, for a first time. But this kind of soft landing service is extraordinarily important. The other thing we do is we help Korean companies meet attorneys that speak Korean, that are, some of them are from Korea, some that got their law degrees in the U.S. And that kind of, direct help in your own language is very helpful. And also some of the ways that we try to guide people is to make sure that they don't spend time where an organization is not going to be fruitful. So they may sometimes suggest a partner, and we say that probably won't work. We save them time, and we know the reasons why they won't work. And they may not work now, but they may work later. And then the third thing that we do is we actually can provide them access to capital. We have capital sources in the state that are available. Some are actually grants. So if they're really competitive and have a great technology, they can actually compete for grants. If they are a company that's growing, we have lending programs and investment programs that are state-sponsored.
Wow, so it seems like you're providing a very convenient, kind of a fast-track course for companies entering the market as well. Now, you've mentioned about hiring and educational exchanges a while ago. Could you elaborate on that? How has your digital hiring platform helped Korean companies recruit top talent in your county?
Yeah, the way that the platform works, we started it actually 6 years ago. And when we started it, I think we were working with like 15 companies and 15 universities. It was very small. On our website, we may have had like 4,000 or 5,000 hits in the first month. We now get 60,000 to 70,000 hits a month now. We work with 17,000 companies. We work with their recruiting teams. We've actually now set up a staff that specializes in working with veterans. So if they are looking for people who have been cleared or pre-cleared talent that are veterans, or they just like someone with a background in discipline and leadership, we can help them get candidates coming out of the military, going directly into their company. We also have a person that specializes in university. So he only works with university students. So university students that are in their junior and senior year or that have been out 3 years, so early in their career. And then we have a person that works with professionals in their mid-career that may need to do some career switching. We find out the requirements of the company. They may have to take some courses. We recommend those courses. And then we do these hiring events. When we first started doing our hiring events, they were all virtual because it was during COVID. Yeah, but now our hiring events are in person. Our last hiring event, we had maybe 1,100 people show up. We had about 10,000 openings. We had on site, we had 50 companies, and they had somewhere around, I think like 140 recruiters in the room. So, and some people got hired right on the spot.
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah, yeah, and we will do this. If the company has a specific requirement, they can tell us the requirement. We have a reach to 100 universities across the United States. We will track down their requirement. If they want someone with deep learning and AI, background, we'll find someone in that arena. If they're looking for someone with a deep cyber background, we'll find that. We try to customize the person, well, the company to the opportunity.
Wow, it sounds like a very efficient system for various industries.
It's turned out to be very, very productive for not only the company, but also for our community. Because recently we had a lot of layoffs in our in the government. Well, we put some of those people right back to work. Thousands of those people went right back to work because of this platform.
Oh, it's a very interesting and very effective system that we're seeing now. But this is going to go across various industries, right?
Mm-hmm, yes. Oh, yeah. So the way that we've designed the system is that we try to go by category. So we'll do an event where it's all about hospitality, and with that we will work with all the hotels. We will work with, we have some corporate hotel companies. In Hilton, for example, is corporate headquarters is in Fairfax. So we work with them and their recruiters, and we'll design it specifically for people trying to get into the hospitality industry. Or we will do, like this one that I mentioned, we had over 1,100 people. That was primarily for tech and cyber. That was a tech and cyber event. So we try to do it by category so that we're not diluting the effectiveness. We try to concentrate it by industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of various industries, Korea, of course, like I've said, is strengthening competitiveness in the AI, semiconductors, batteries, defense, etc. Which industries do you think offers the greatest potential for cooperation with Fairfax County?
Well, there are 5 industries that we're concentrating on. And 3 of those, I think, match very strongly with Korea. One is space and aerospace. And we, of course, have the Korean Aerospace Corporation in Fairfax, which is fantastic. The other is actually artificial intelligence. We have the second highest number of artificial intelligence openings in the country, in our region. And the third is data and next generation data centers that may involve quantum and quantum computing. And the reason why we are so strong in data centers is that we have the largest number of data centers in the world. Actually, we have 5 times Silicon Valley. We have 3 times Singapore. And that has a long history. It started in the 60s and grew, and now it's the center of data from around the world.
Right. So aerospace, AI, and data centers.
Yes.
Those are the top
next
3
generation
areas.
data centers.
Well, is there another reason why you've chose the 3 out compared to others?
One is because they're growing so fast. And our goal in economic development is fuel growth. So we don't really try to pick the markets. The markets kind of define themselves, and what we do is try to support their growth. We can't create a market, but we can help a market grow.
Right. So clearly a lot of growth. It's showing strong potential for further cooperation in that area. Now, finally, before we let you go, what kind of partnership would you like to see between Korea's innovative companies and Fairfax County in the coming years ahead?
Well, one of the areas that I'm really excited about is how quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and aerospace are kind of merging. And I think that those 3 industries have the greatest potential for shared work. One reason is that quantum is so complicated, and the research it's just in earnest all around the world. But everybody's learning different things, and no one country is able to dominate in it, which is actually that's a good thing in this case. The second is that artificial intelligence really is something that is becoming going to be like a utility. It'll be in our system, sort of like the internet. It'll be everywhere. And that's something that we all want to take advantage of. I mean, I would like an artificial intelligence to design me the perfect vacation for me and my wife. I mean, you know, there are things that you want to do with it that aren't necessarily work right now, but frankly are very, you know, productive for an individual. But I think those are the areas that can really grow and really continue to grow.
Right. So certainly we will be excited to watch how that partnerships would grow in the coming years ahead. But as for now, we'll have to conclude the discussion here. Thank you so much for your insights and for your time, Mr. Hoskins.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate being invited.
We appreciate it too. And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame tonight. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Till then, stay informed and engaged.